and happy Tuesday. I hope everyone is doing well. Just give it another minute or two to see if anyone's going to pop on and join us this evening. We've got some fun campfire crafting on the plan, on the craft desk. But I know sometimes it takes a minute or two for this to pop into the live stream, so please do jot in the comments below if you are watching. Let me know you are here. Tell me where you're watching from, and let me know if you are a camper or a glamper, I guess is the best way. I will tell you that this girl predominantly is a glamper. I definitely prefer my indoor plumbing and my proper bed and bedding, not necessarily a sleeping bag kind of girl, but I do love a good campfire. So even though I may not like the tents and sleeping with the bugs and the wildlife, I do appreciate a good s'more, the smell of a good campfire, and just sitting around relaxing with friends. I do see people joining in now. Excellent. Hello, Ellen. Hello, Debbie. Hello, everyone who is joining us tonight. Thank you for coming and watching me during this Tuesday evening. I've actually been down in the basement for a little while, so I'm not 100% sure what it is like out. I think it was kind of a nice day today. No rain, knock wood. But if you're joining me this evening, maybe you are sitting outside watching me, or maybe you are in a nice cool area. Hello, Janice. Hello, Diane. Welcome, everyone. Ellen says lately she has been a glamper that running water is a must. Friend, we are on the same page. Okay, so tonight I actually had a bit of a change of heart. We just got some new dies in from Memory Box, some wintry festive dies. But when I sat down to schedule this and kind of make my official plan on what I was going to do on this live, I just could not wrap my brain around winter here on the last Tuesday in July. Now, fortunately, Matt had brought in these Paper Rose Studios. They call them mini junk journal folio kits. I'm not sure if the junk journal part is, I know that the term junk journal can be very broad and can incorporate a lot of things. This, to me, as I really started playing with it, is more of just a basic little folio. I'm not quite sure where the junk journaling comes into play. So if you have seen these on our website, if you have seen them kind of out in the world and thought, but I'm not a junk journaler, I'm not quite sure how to use this, don't pay attention to those two words. I'm going to walk you through what this kit includes. There's so much. There is just so much that I think you do get the base supplies to make 2 folios, plus a whole bunch of other stuff that you can then use for cards or use for other projects. There actually was quite a number of sentiments in the punch outs with things like birthday wishes and thanks and that kind of thing. So for me, those are more card sentiments than they are folio or memory keeping sentiments. But hey, the size of this is A2, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So you could just turn this into a really fantastic card if you so desired. But there's lots and lots of other pieces. So let me break it down. Let's get in and let's get crafting. Hello, Karen and Jan and Shelley. Hope everyone is doing well tonight. Thank you for joining. So again, this is made by Paper Rose, and it came with 8, see if I can get it across here, 8 of these sheets where all of the pieces punch out. So there are your base pieces, and on the back of this is actually a very simplified instruction guide. I'm going to elevate this just a little bit with some pattern paper, because the one thing I wasn't too keen on myself was the white on the inside. And don't mind my Post-its, I was doing some measurements and things so that I could be prepared for tonight. But I wasn't keen on that white piece or that white element, so I have also brought in some pattern paper from this collection, which is called Campfire Tales. Now, if you don't have matching pattern paper, you could absolutely use cardstock, you could random stamp, you could do all kinds of things to kind of dress up this white bit. There are some larger pieces, and maybe let's go backwards. So there are the base pieces to make the folio. The folio itself is excuse me, comprised of 4 pieces. There is a top and a bottom. So the top has a straight edge, which will be this brown piece. The bottom has this scalloped edge, but they're both the same size when they come down to it. So if you chose to flip it, you totally could. This is your side panel here. And then your base panel is actually 2 panels. So it's this larger piece here. And I left this one in that carrier sheet because I wanted to share with you that they do identify it. So the ones that have this little black number, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 for A, 1, 2, 3, 4 for B. But there's no reason why you couldn't mix it and match it as well. But I left that one in there to show you that it does identify what those base pieces are. And then all of the other punch outs are just for your decorating pleasure. So there, that is punched out. It is scored. I don't know if you can see that on camera. You will see it very easily when we start actually assembling it. So those are our base pieces. This was the second one, just so you see what the pieces are. And again, you could absolutely mix and match. There were large pieces. Let me just find them over here. So just some pretty panels. So that one's got an arched panel. This one is more like a tag. Then there are all kinds of pockets. So there are little horizontal pockets. There are slash pockets or side pockets. There's actually 2 of those here. And another couple more of those horizontal ones. And then this one is like one of those, I think they call it a coin envelope. And so you can see it's really easy to just fold it along the score lines. Shelley, you don't need to behave. It's okay. Matt's just being silly to think that we're going to not have fun tonight. Anyway, so that's that little coin envelope that you can put together and use. And it is a really nice heavyweight cardstock. The score lines are already there for you. You do definitely want a bone folder. So I've got mine handy here. Let's see, does it tell me what the weight? So it's 300 GSM. I don't know how to convert that into pounds, but like I said, really nice, heavy coated cardstock. So this folio is really going to hold up. Then there are some medium pieces. So there's borders. There's elements like this. There are little tags. Look at that cute little puppy. Some more little tags and embellishments. Lots of little things that you can add. Some little tuck cards that you could use for your journaling. Then there are smaller pieces. And like I said, there's a whole bunch of sentiments. Then there are some really small pieces like little leaves. Guessing that's like a little water bottle carrier. There's some animals. There's our campfire. So really lots and lots and lots of elements that we can play with. And then of course, you can bring in your other supplies. So as much as I did not end up using these for what I had intended to, there's no reason why you couldn't take this deer and, even take his scarf and his hat off if you just want him to be a deer in the wild. The pine trees, you can decorate this however you see fit. I'm also wondering, and I'm going to get this one assembled first, but I think that there might be a way where you could even combine these to make one larger folio as opposed to 2 smaller ones. But let's dig in. Let's start by assembling this Well, it'll be the second one that I have assembled, and we'll see what we can do with that. So sit back. Hopefully you've got a nice cool beverage, maybe a little snacky snack. And like I said, I do have some other papers and cut aparts. The finished size of this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So even if you only had a 6 by 6 pad, this one's got lots of great little patterns in it. You don't have to get the full 12 by 12 if you're just using it to cover and create flips and flaps and that kind of thing. Okay. All right, let me make some space here. I do have some ink handy, so I grabbed honeyed oak and camouflage from 49 to Market in case we wanted to edge anything. And yeah, now I'm kind of looking at all my stuff, wondering where we're going to start. So now that I've already made one, if I were doing this again, I've already got this kind of figured out, but I did measure those panels, and that's what all my Post-it notes were. And then I took those measurements and just transposed them over here onto my instruction sheet. So if for some reason I ever wanted to make this again, maybe I'm only making one and I want to make another one, then I don't have to remeasure. It does have step-by-step instructions down here, but really, once you take a look at it, it's really not that hard to figure out. So I'm going to put this aside. I probably won't refer to it other than maybe for those measurements, but it's handy if we need it. So here is my main piece, my main background, and I want that over to the left-hand side. This little piece here is going to complete the horizontal part of this project. And then, like I said, the instructions have the straight edge going at the top and the scalloped edge going at the bottom. Knowing what I know now, I'm actually going to make a creative decision and flip those the other way. Because when it folds over, I want that scalloped to be coming down from the top. But just a creative choice. Now, like I said, there are score lines on this base piece. It does create a little gusset. Just that little narrow fold here so that everything can kind of tuck inside, especially once you get your photos and things on there. So there are 2 score lines here and 2 score lines down the middle, and then just a single score line on top and bottom here. What I found easy, now that I've got this set out the way it's supposed to be assembled, I'm actually going to flip it so that the white side is facing up. And that's because I want all of those assembly pieces to be on the inside. So this one's now going to flip over to the left, and this one's going to flip over like so. So it's almost like we've taken the whole thing and flipped it so that that white side is showing. I'm going to start here with that larger piece. And again, I'm not sure how well it shows up on the camera, but there are 2 score lines down the center. I'm pretty confident that I can just go like this and it'll gently pop. But if you really need to, grab a ruler and you can use that just to give something for your paper to press against, especially once you get to that second score line. Let me see if I can, this second one was tricky for me earlier too. It will pop. Now if you find that it's not folding easily, you could easily put it in your trimmer or scoreboard and rescore it. There we go. So that's along that line. That's just going to help give me a crease. Let's go over here with the bone folder, crease it one more time. Create that beautiful gusset. Now make sure I'm getting it right. There we go. So that first piece is now done. Put it back out. Make sure my mountains are still pointing up the right way. Then I'm going to come over here, and this one also has 2 score lines. So we'll gently fold those inwards. There's one. And it's such a pretty collection. It's got some really adorable little critters. We're just going to have fun. This would make a great gift. There are some really fun Christmas ones that I've seen that would also make really great gifts. Especially if you use the pockets to, tuck gift cards and that kind of thing into. All right, so those two are scored. And just while I'm scoring, I might as well do all of them. Get that out of the way. Just tuck under there. There we go. Okay. That one's going to go on the bottom. And I'm going to put the scalloped one on the top. As I'm doing this, let me ask you folks a question. Are you a s'mores person? Are you just a marshmallow person? Do you like your marshmallows just barely golden and soft and squishy, or do you like them charred and well done? Let me know your camping preferences. Thinking about marshmallows makes me want to go up and just turn my stove on. Roast some marshmallows that way, but I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is take my score tape. This is 5mm. You could go to the super skinny 3mm, but this is really the perfect width. It seemed to fit in all of the folds that I was doing without having to cut or having any leftover. Matt says marshmallows only, burnt on fire. Alan says no burned marshmallows here. Totally agree. I like them nice and golden. So I'm just running the tape down that outside fold. And then how I like to position this is I'm going to take this. Oh, Shelley is a well done. Karen is a lightly golden. Nobody's turning down s'mores. That's good. S'mores and charred. Wow. Okay, so I've just folded over this one little panel here. I've got the tape on that one side. I'm going to line them up this way. I'm going to peel. Oh, maybe. There we go. Peel that backing. Again, if you just butt it up like this and then fold over like this, all of a sudden your fold is perfect. So there's our front cover. There's our first reveal. There's the inside. Now we're going to do the exact same thing for the top and the bottom. Let me just right along in that little gap. And like I said, this 5mm tape is pretty close to perfect for these little areas. You could go a little bit skinnier. I would not try to do this with tape runner. You could do it with liquid tape or liquid glue, but it would be pretty slidey. This does have a coating on it, so this double-sided tape is perfect. All right, so fold the flap down, butt it up against the bottom here, and just fold it over. So now that folds up, and one last panel here. And we're going to come, I'm actually going to flip it upside down just so that I can see a little bit better. It's always hard when it's far away from you. Oh. Fold the flap down. Slide it up to the top here. And then just fold that flap over. So voila. Bottom folds up, top folds down. Looks like I'm a little tiny bit crooked, but we're just going to pretend that's not the case. Then this side folds in, this side folds in, and there is your folio. So here's where my thought process then went. I wonder, so one thing you could theoretically do, let's see if it does work in practice. You could put the second one inside and only glue it in that center panel. So what would you do with these flaps? Yeah, so maybe not, but there is a way that you could put two of these together. You could attach the flaps like that. But let's you know what? Let's not make it complicated. Let's keep it simple and just focus on the one. But know that there's options. There's options. Matt's saying, what's wrong with making it the way it was designed? There's nothing wrong with making it the way it was designed. But that's not always the way the creative mind works. Okay, so I want to cover up this white space. This is not something that makes me happy. You could cut your panels down to any pattern paper down to 4x5 1/4 and ink it. I've just gone ahead and I have cut some pattern paper from this Campfire Tales collection, and I'm going to put that one there. This one should go edge to edge, so that one should be fine. And then I cut these mountains to go in the center. And yes, I know that I'm going to leave the white gussets plain, but you could always again, we could ink, and maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I will ink that so it's not quite so stark. And then I also cut some more compasses for the top and bottom. So first things first, I'm going to ink that gusset. I think I'm going to use that honeyed oak, that nice yellow. I'm going to put these ones on that don't need to be trimmed. Then these ones, I'm just going to trace the shape. And this one I will trace the shape so that we can keep that decorative shape there. But I think, to me, that makes it look a little bit more finished. So, get my ink. And I guess what I'm hoping you take away from this effort that I am making here is that don't feel like you're limited by what's in the kit. You can absolutely add your own goodies to this. So I'm just going to go like this so it's not quite so stark and white. The edges are going to get covered up so I don't have to worry about it being too neat. And if you did cut your paper smaller, you could go around and ink all of the edges on the inside. I would not do it on the other side because it is glossy, so it's not going to, the ink is not going to stay very well. But here on the inside, it is more of a matte finish that will allow you to do these techniques. All right, get my liquid. I'm using the new 49 and Market glue. Margaret says, some people like to be different. That's why. Matt's been married to me long enough to know that I like to be different. So I've just started using this new 49 and Market glue, and I'm pretty happy with it, I gotta say. You do have to make sure that you're putting the cap on because it does seal up pretty quickly. But I like the way that when I've used it on paper, it hasn't buckled and wrinkled the paper, so it's quite nice to use on a purpose like this. Otherwise, you could use your double-sided tape. You could use your tape runner, but I'm liking this glue, so I'm gonna keep on with that. This paper here did have some cut-aparts on the back with different sentiments. But Father's Day is over, so I'm not going to worry about Father's Day. That can go in here. Wiggle it into place. Make sure that it's not showing out the other side. You could always trim it. Okay, and let's do that bottom one. And again, I'm thinking I didn't get something quite straight because I do see a little bit out of line, and maybe I should have inked that part as well, but too late now. Alan's saying sometimes I cheat and make them indoors, get some celebration cookies, roast some marshmallows on broil. Oh, that's interesting as well. Okay. So those 3 panels are down. This one, because I want to cut it first. No, you know what? I'm just going to put it down and then I'll trim it. This one I will probably trace. Or you know what? How deep is that scallop? Where did my ruler go? I'm going to call it 1/2 inch. So if I take 1/2 inch off this, right now it's 3 3/8, so 1/2 inch. Oh my math. 1/8, 1/4, 1/8, 1/2. Let's bring that ink back. Whoops. Stop it. My little container keeps wanting to come out to play. Soon enough, little container, soon enough. All right. And now this, I need to come a little bit farther. A little bit more ink. And maybe this is why they call it a junk journal, because you can put all kinds of things together. But look at that. Look at that. Okay, this last piece here. It's going to go on like this. So let's flip it over. Grab my pencil. Trace it out. Grab my scissors. And I think that's one of the other reasons why I like the liquid glue, is because it's going to provide a nice seal along all the edges, so it feels like one cohesive page versus paper on top of paper. So all right. Flip. Oh, hi there, Leanne. Yeah, sorry I missed you as well. Today was a work from home day for me. All right, there we go. So now our bottom can flip up, our top can flip down, left side, or right side, left side. That one looks like it's just a little bit off. There we go. So to me, this now feels like a much more finished foundation. Kind of funny to say if it would be a finished starting point. And now we can then start playing with some of the other elements. So I think on this side here, I want to put a pocket. Maybe one of these. Got the compasses already. That I don't necessarily want compass on top of compass. That teal one's not too bad though. That one to me almost gets lost. So maybe let's put the critters on that one. Let's put, no, you know what? Let's put the wood, because that way we've got our brown balancing out. So these you just fold and fold and fold one more time. Now the little gaps on these look a little bit wider. So if you wanted to go to a thicker tape, you could. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to use the one I've got here. If you've got a skinnier tape, I like to put it along the fold, because that's where you want it to make sure it stays stuck. Okay. And even though they show it on the instructions, I don't know that I would put pockets on these pieces, because if you had a pocket here and you flipped it upside down, stuff was going to be dumping out. If you had a pocket on here, you do that and everything's going to fall out. So I personally like to just keep the pockets on the panels that are going to stay upright, but that's totally up to you. Okay. So this one I'm going to come up just a little bit, put it in the inside here, and then we've got our slash pocket. Tape up that panel. That one's a little narrower again, so just be careful as you're taping. And really this is now just playtime and adding things based on what you want to add. Margaret said she only got one store for the shop hop. One of these days, Margaret, you'll have to come out and see us. All right, so what else could we play with? So we could put that tag in that pocket. And what I would probably do is, I might want to cover that back piece up, or there was some journaling. I think it was in this little bucket here. That's cute with the little squirrel. But I almost, again, I'm not loving the white, so I would almost want to put some pattern paper behind that. That one's a little postcard, so that can tuck in here. What else have I got? Some little pictures. All right, what have I got for pattern paper here? Oh, no. Gonna say maybe one of those, but I think those are all too horizontal. This one here, that's almost, oh, I'm not even on camera. That's the same photo, so I don't know that I necessarily want to put same on it, though that's kind of interesting. Let's save that for something else. Let's just go with this other side. This side's got the little backpacks, which I think is really cute. So how big is this? This is 3 3/4 by almost 5. Which ones of these do I want to save? I think I want to save this side, so let's cut off this side. 3 3/4. Nope. My paper doesn't go away and my trimmer goes away. Oh my stars. So let's glue that on. We'll trim it down afterwards. let's slide that on there. I'm gonna let that set for a minute before I come back to it. And again, you want photos in here too. If this is meant for memory keeping, then of course you want photos. That's that little squirrely guy. So I've just got some white paper to mimic my photos here. Let's do some let's do a 3x5. Let's do a 3x3 while we've got it here. Maybe 2 3x3s. Now let's cut this to 2x2. Will we get 2x2 out of this? Yeah, we'll get 2 2x2s. So imagine these are your photos. I might actually take this. No, that's the same paper already. Too many choices. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. I'm going to take this piece here and I'm going to make, Darlene will be proud of me, I'm going to make a flip flap. Cut this down. It'll be 4 inches wide. I want it to be 5 inches, maybe a little bit more, so I don't cut off that sentiment. Oh, and it's got pattern paper on the back. Hooray. So this can go in the center. And I'm going to put this 3x5. Oh, maybe it needs to be a little bit smaller, but that's okay. Let's put that on the back of that flip flap. So that's how you could add to these folios if you wanted a little bit more to it, is you make your own little flips and flaps. So this now flips up to have a photo. I'm going to take this 2x2 and put it up here. And see, it's really just now about playing, adding your photos, adding your extra elements. And then oh, I like this one with the trees. So we could put the trees and a little photograph down here. And really, guys, so far I've only just scratched the surface. There's a lot in these kits. Okay. Do we have a little critter we could put on here? Oh, you know what would be cute? Oh, here, he's cute. Cute little fox. We could pop him up right in the center here. Ooh, how darling, how darling. What could we put up here? On the logs, how about we put that campfire? And yes, I probably should be using that liquid glue that I got out, but I just used tape runner. This says, get outside. come down here. And there's just, I could just be playing with all these little elements for ages. We'll save the borders for the outside. How about life is better around the campfire? Margaret, these are mini folio kits from Paper Rose. This is the Campfire Tales line. Great for camping memories, and they all punch out, so you don't, unless you're adding paper like I have been, you don't even need anything other than adhesive. You said you could stamp the back of the tag and journal. Absolutely. And let me just finish trimming this guy off. Now that that glue has set, get rid of that little crumb. So yes, you could put some paper on here and do journaling. Where did my scissors go? You could put a photo, which I think I'm going to put that 3x3 photo on the back of this. Honestly, you could put a pocket on the back of the tag. There's just lots and lots of pieces to play with. So let's go ahead and put this photo on. And oh, how about that little squirrel? Little squirrel on the back. So this can tuck in here. Get it right in that gusset there and see how that's coming together. Even these circles you could just use as a journaling spot, so that fits nicely in that little pocket. This will fold up. We can put some goodies on here. What I might even do, if you had Velcro, you could put a little, I'm going to call it a locking mechanism. So maybe even, you know, something like that that's got the fireflies on it. Obviously, you don't want to stick it to both sides, but you could put some Velcro, or if you really wanted to get, you know, creative, you could put a magnet on there if you wanted to keep it closed. I think I'm just, for right now, going to put a foam square on this top piece. And let's see where else we go from here. So I'm going to close this. We now have, actually, let's go like this. So this is our front cover. This is our inside insert. This is our back cover. I probably wouldn't put any photos on the outside just because they could get scratched or damaged or the like. But if I had, say, another photo, let's try a 3x3. That could go on this piece here, and really your options are unlimited. Oh, I wanted to put, I love these little boots, so I'm going to cut the boots off here. And that could go across my photo. Absolutely. Margaret's saying you could put a belly band around it. Definitely. Suzanne's asking, do they have Christmas ones? Yes, I was looking on our supplier's website and there are some Christmas ones. Not sure if they're available yet or if they were on pre-order, but we definitely could get some some Christmas ones. I think these would make, again, these would make really stunning kind of elevated cards. Just too many options. Oh, this one would be good. Date and memories. I'm actually gonna put that here. But if we go back to this side, let's do out on the hiking trail. And just for the sake of speed, I am just doing one foam square. Just make sure that still closes up nicely. Starting to get a little bit full, so in hindsight, maybe I shouldn't have done the foam squares on here, but you know, it's still holding closed, holding nicely. And then out of my cut aparts on that pattern paper, there's Life is Better Around the Campfire. I think we had it as a small one in here, but I don't mind it also being on my cover. Will it fit? Yes, it fits nicely. Or if you had, say, a circle die, you could cut it out as well. So, or you could fussy cut it. And maybe that's what I will do, just leave a little bit of that teal around the outside. Because I'm going fast, it's not perfectly even, but hey, it's rustic, it's camping. You can always trim it down a bit if you need to. So let's do Life is Better Around the Campfire. Lots of great camp memories. Put that on the front. I like that the front is more of a pattern versus a scene, because it really does allow us to add some goodies to it. There was a larger sentiment here that says adventure. So that would look really fun on the front. Or great outdoor. Oh, maybe this one. Great outdoors. And if I had my enamel dots handy, I would probably put, there's the two little white spots where the rivet or the button would go. I'd probably put enamel dots on there. Can I fit any more critters? Any more little critters over here? Oh, the lantern. We've got a lantern. Oh, but I don't want to cover up the words. Maybe the raccoon. Nope, still covering up the words. Too big. How about little chickadee? He'd be cute right there. And you get the idea. You get the idea. Oh, I think maybe he's better up here. So, still lots of goodies left over. So these were some of the larger pieces. Lots more of the little pieces. What's this little guy? Oh, that's the bicycle. Oh. Here's a marshmallow. We absolutely need to put the marshmallow. Can't talk about campfires without the actual marshmallow. So maybe we'll do it like that. Okay. So I think that's it for me tonight. But I hope that I have shown you just how fun and versatile these kits can be. They go together like a dream. The actual assembly really took only minutes, and then it's the decorating, it's the embellishing, which truly is the fun part anyways. That really takes this project home. So thank you for joining me tonight. We do have the campfire tales in stock, and I've seen in the comments here that Matt was jumping in terms of, yes, there are Christmas ones. There are a bunch of different themes. I was also thinking, like, I've got a wedding coming up in August, that this would make a lovely wedding card. So I want to look at some of those themes as well. If you grab one of these kits and go ahead and make it, definitely share with us what you make and how you have embellished things. And we love seeing what you make. That's it for me tonight. Wishing you all a wonderful rest of your week. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for our What's New at 4 p.m. or catch the replay. I got a lot of information to share. So both in terms of our anniversary coming up, as well as some of the new releases that we have been anxiously awaiting for, I will give you all the lowdown tomorrow at 4 p.m. Thanks so much, everyone, and I wish you a wonderful, wonderful evening. Good night.